One, two, one, two, one, two.
They just don't know. We keep treating.
Yeah. You hear these athletes talking about, yeah, we was out there tricking. What? Why? You're part of the problem.
Hey, you'll be happy to know. You'll be happy to know that these white women, they done went there, y'all. They done went there. It's something that I told you I have always been in fear of for the black woman. I have told you I had been in fear of this very day. One of the major reasons that I don't mind that black women wear hair like these white women is because their hair don't really grow. And if they had wore their natural hair, then white women would call them bald-headed and all this other stuff. And I had never wanted that. I never wanted that for my black sisters. That's how come I didn't mind that they wear wigs and weaves. Because it was like too easy for white women to call them bald-headed. And I have always supported the weave-wearing black woman because I do not want white women being able to say things about them. Now, how did we even get there? Because the black woman started wearing the weaves. You could have just been bald-headed all along, or however long your hair grows, and black men would have loved you either way. But nevertheless, you have this woman named Joy Reid, and she's calling out all of the white women as being racist. So these white women, Megyn Kelly and all these people, they are trying to get her fired. In the midst of trying to get her fired, they called her bald-headed. I was taken aback. I was like, hold on. No, they didn't just say the thing that I feared for black women. Is that, well, that's a whole nother story. Because they came out, Joy Reid and all these women are coming out blaming white women for the election as if black women were teammates with them. And now that they've been disappointed, they are lashing out at white women, exercising their freedom of speech, but also showing their hand on how they really feel about these white women. So this is how white women fire back at Joy Reid as they call her bald-headed. And I was like, oh, man.
It's a TikTok situation until her ass is fired. It's just, there's no way MSNBC, which is in a full meltdown now about how bad their losses were, there's no way they can keep this woman. I realize they're in the same problem that the Democrat Party is. Like, they have a base that they need to keep. But she and her little friend, Ellie Mistal, are truly the most racist people on television. And here,
they're calling for Joy Reid's job. See, now, Joy Reid, I don't know what type of beef she's ever had, but it's on.
Spend another minute on Joy Reid. It's a TikTok situation until her ass is fired. It's just, there's no way MSNBC, which is in a full meltdown now about how bad their losses were, there's no way they can keep this woman. I realize they're in the same problem that the Democrat Party is. Like, they have a base that they need to keep. But she and her little friend, Ellie Mistal, are truly the most racist people on television. And here's her latest messaging, as some groups, indeed, are reportedly planning some march, like the Women's March. Now they're trying to get a march ready. That'll do it. They're going to bust out their pea hats again. Okay, all right.
These white women are going after black women. And I I have a bad notion. Like, I don't think black women were ready for this war right here. She said you pull out your pea hats, your green beret pea hats. Oh man. And she ain't even call her bald-headed yet. And you get out there and you march and you talk about we shall overcome. I mean, whew, man.
You are reportedly planning some march, like the Women's March. Now they're trying to get a march ready. That'll do it. They're gonna bust out their pea hats again. Okay, all right. It worked out so well the last time. And listen to Joy Reid's reaction.
Hey, I just want to give some free advice to the white progressives, particularly white progressive women who may be thinking about marching against the Trump victory, maybe putting back on the pure hats and doing that thing. I would just say probably don't send any of those invites to any black women you know. I'm just going to tell you right now, they're not coming. Like, I'm pretty sure black women have resigned from the Save America Coalition, Save Democracy Coalition, and definitely the Save the Democratic Party Coalition.
So, what do we always say when they say that? So, Joy Reid is basically, as most black women are saying, white women, don't call us when you march. Oh, so Joy, when they called you before the election, you would march with them. Yes, okay. So you're sick and tired of going for the Save America, the Democratic Party coalition, and so you were with all these different coalitions other than black men? Yes. Okay.
I think that's probably not happening. I would just keep those invites maybe among your own friends because I don't think they're coming. But yeah, I think black women are now on the Save Black Women, prioritize black men, and prioritize black communities, black businesses, and that, and you know.
Oh, you doing that now? Oh, you prioritizing black men now? Oh.
But yeah, I think black women are now on the Save Black Women, prioritize black men, and prioritize black communities, black businesses, and that, and you know, the black spaces, the Save America, Save the Democratic Party. Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Okay. First of all, where's your hair? What happened to your hair, Joy? It's gone. Like, it's gone from, like, it looked like Trump's hair, and now it's gone altogether. Anywho.
Uh-oh. Calling up bald-headed. Let's go. Here goes the bald-headed stuff.
Gone. Like, it's gone from, like, it looked like Trump's hair, and now it's gone altogether. Anywho, this is what happens when you get bitter and bitter and bitter. And we've seen all these women shaving off their hair online. Have you seen this? This is like part of the resistance effort to telegraph that you hate Trump. These, you know, somewhat okay-looking women are shaving off their hair. So I don't know if that is what she did there, but we already knew that you were far lefty. You didn't have to shave your head. Second of all, the nerve. Like, this is what happens, right? And when she looks at the white progressive women, as it like, what more self-flagellation could white progressive women have done to earn the little pat on the head from the Joy Reids of the world? Ladies, pay attention. It doesn't get you anywhere.
Pat on the head from the Joy Reids of the world. Who are the Joy Reids of the world? The black women of the world. White women don't need that from you, she's saying. And a lot of times they often say, why are you here?
If the conservative women or the more moderate white women let you down, you will be lumped in. Your whiteness comes first before your progressivism does in this battlefield. You will be diminished. You will be.
Your whiteness comes first before your progressiveness in this battlefield.
Rejected by the Joy Reids of the world until what? Until Joy Reid gets her way at the ballot box, Emily.
Well, and Joy Reid is really speaking on behalf of elite progressive black women. She's not speaking on behalf of black women as a whole, because what we've seen over and over again in polling is that the sort of Democratic Party and its activists are far further to the left of actual black voters, Hispanic voters, than they are themselves. So on issues like policing, on issues like economics, like they tend to be cultural issues for sure. The people like Joy Reid, who are in elite media spaces, are further to the left. And so her sort of going and giving free advice as though anybody should care about her free advice after what just happened and her performance as a journalist over the course of the cycle is hilarious. But I am curious what MSNBC does about like overt racism coming from Joy Reid and Alina Stahl, which happens all of the time on their shows. Do they now recognize it as toxic racism? Now that
so the white people are calling racism on Joy Reid, and like you say, you know how white people are. They're so sneaky. Yes, they're calling it on Joy Reid, but they're calling it on all these black women. You know how these whiteys are.
sort of been clear. It's been rejected by voters. It kind of gives them license to say, all right, this is not working. This is too far. This is radical. This is extremism. We're platforming it. You know, those like executives in the C-suites who are thinking through these questions. So they now say we have to stop platforming this extreme racism and acting like it's constructive and healthy. I'm actually pretty curious about that.
Me too. Here's a little bit more from her warnings post his victory. Eliana Slot 20.
Don't think because you have a green card and came through the right way, if you're brown, you may not stick around. I don't think they care whether you have a green card or not. They're pulling people out and taking people out of this country, whether they like it or not, or whether you voted for them or not. Surprise.
So he's going to deport all brown people, even if you're here legally. Like, this NBC owns MSNBC, and this organization is allowing her to spew this racist hate on their channel, that he's going to deport all brown people, even those here legally. Eliana, truly, how long can they allow this? And can that party with that kind of thinking survive?
You know, there have been a couple news articles that have floated the idea that NBC, that Comcast may sell MSNBC. And I do think that's being floated for reasons like this, because,
like I said, they're going after Joy Reid's job. So the white women, they kind of want her fired. They think, you know, these white women being blamed for the election, they're basically saying, so what? Who are you to tell us who to vote for? And, you know, that's the only thing that you got to say about this Trump administration. You can say they are racist, but that's how it's always been. But you will say, well, Joy Reid get fired. That would be the white women, you know, playing their card. See, because Joy Reid and black women have thought that you could just say anything because they thought they were teammates with the white women. That's where this whole thing got mixed up at. It's sickening.
although the cable news network and cable news arm of the network makes money, it does cause some problems for the larger enterprise. And I wouldn't be totally shocked to see that happen. A lot of the headlines they make are for clips like the ones you just played, and it's now intentionally being floated in the press that this thing may be spun off into its own orbit. And Joy Reid will be a big part of that, but also, some of the stuff that's on Morning Joe and elsewhere, it is all over the network, which has intentionally defined itself as a resistance network. You recall the absolute hysterics over the fact that Ronna McDaniel was brought on as a contributor, where it was MSNBC hosts that torpedoed something.
Right. I had this for y'all. So this was Joy Reid when Biden won. So this is what? This is 4 years ago. This is when Biden beat Kamala. Okay?
I mean, when Steve said a couple hours ago that what it looks like is something shocking, it really is a shocking turnaround. And I wonder, we've had conversations before about how Democrats prioritize and make this choice. It seems like this year more than, and people keep talking about electability in an abstract term. I think tonight electability is around who voters intuit Donald Trump is most afraid of. And if you look at the last year of Donald Trump's presidency, he got himself impeached trying to take out Joe Biden.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about trying to take out Joe Biden, you have to think about Joe Biden as being like Coca-Cola, right? So if I have Coca-Cola and you make a soda, I still have Coca-Cola. It's very difficult to change that brand. Biden has a known brand, particularly to the voters who really handed it to him tonight, which is black voters. They know who he is.
Look at this woman's hair, bro. This is what money did to the black woman. She making money and she could just wear some shit like this. I'm glad she went to shave all that shit off, because that's crazy. Like, it's nothing about this hairdo that don't say you ain't no bald-headed person. Like, that's crazy.
He's Barack Obama's VP. And I now, as I'm thinking about just talking to a lot of black voters, particularly in southern states over the last, and in Indiana and places that I've just been running around for the last couple of months, Biden is who they wanted originally. Biden was what they were going to go with. Then he got shaky. He faltered. He started to see maybe it won't work. And then I started hearing repeatedly, we're going to have to go to Bloomberg. I mean, black voters, and I've said this before, they are very clinical about it. They just want to win. They want Trump gone. That's what they want. And Biden was who they wanted because he's a loyal second to Barack Obama. Full stop. But then when he was shaky, they're like, we'll go to Bloomberg. Then Warren iced him. I mean, she ethered him. She finished him. It was kind of a murder-suicide because it didn't help her, but it ended him. And then when that happened, they went, okay. So now I just was down in South Carolina in Selma, and there was a scene inside of Brown Chapel AME that told me Biden's going to sweep the South. I mean, I knew he'd probably win the southern states, but after that night, I was like, oh, he's going to not just win, he's going to sweep. Biden is inside Brown Chapel AME, which is this revered church. But you don't get on the pulpit, you don't get on the dais in a church like that. Slow down, tell the story with as much detail as possible. I've never heard a more fascinating.
So what you're hearing here is Biden went to a black church in South Carolina, and that's how they played them black people. And you know, Biden is the same one that they wouldn't have voted for this time. The only reason the Democratic Party had any action is because they switched to Kamala. A lot of black women were not going to vote for Joe Biden. They were just going to sit it out and just let Trump do the same thing that he did. So, yeah, I didn't watch the video. I thought she was talking about Kamala.
Schwerner and Cheney were killed. They were have to be invited to sit on the dais. Family sits on the dais. The pastor said, laud this other candidate. He couldn't even leave because he would have had.
But yeah, so that was 4 years ago.
She's supposed to be a contributor for NBC.
That's really what you take away listening to Joy Reid. She actually does want some sort of rioting in the streets, some sort of race revolt. She had on this person, again, this is just on Friday. This is an ancient history, to counsel people who don't want to be around their family members who voted Trump. And sadly, this actually may have been necessary because if you go online, you will see a ton of lunatics who actually are talking about disowning family members who voted Trump. Listen here.
You know someone voted that way. Do you recommend it from a psychological standpoint, being around them? We got the holidays coming up.
So I love that you asked this question because, you know, there is a push, I think just a societal norm that if somebody is your family, that they are entitled to your time. And I think the answer is absolutely not. So if you...
Now, we heard this before. We heard Tanya TKO talk like this. Look at Joy Reid. They're actually happy to disassociate themselves with their family. Yo, y'all black brothers got some sick black sisters out there.
You are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who you know have voted in ways that are against you, like what you said, against your livelihood. And it's completely fine to not be around those people and to tell them why, you know, to say, I have a problem with the way that you voted because it went against my very livelihood and I'm not going to be around you this holiday. I need to take some space for me. And I actually talk to, you know, adults as well as advising parents for children. I mean, I think, you know, I don't think that you should force children. I don't think you should force adults to be around people just because they're your family. I think there's a level of, you know, need to establish boundaries. And if you feel like you need to establish boundaries with people, whether they're your...
I mean, what community is that? All jokes aside, only the black community are saying stay away from your family. First, that's one thing. But then stay away from your family because they voted a certain way on some country politics that you knew what the underlying thing was. That it's a white man's country. You know the underlying thing, but you're going to disassociate yourself from your black family because of the overall theme of a white man's country. Like, what other group of people would do this? Ma'am, you're disassociating yourself from your family. You want reproductive rights to delete your babies. And you're still not happy that men have made the world a place that you could even consider some dumb shit like that? All jokes aside. So, this is bad, man. So, this ugly woman, if you want to call her ugly, she has the platform. And it just look at the contrast. For all we know, this woman is a mixed race baby, but we just gonna call her black. So you got two opposite sides of the spectrum. They really don't identify with each other. That's why this stuff is weird. They don't really identify with each other's life. Men want her and men don't want her. She don't care. and she don't care. Like, it's weird.
Your family or not, I think you should very much be entitled to do so, and I think it may be essential for your mental health.
These people are sick. They're sick, Emily. I look at this whole thing as like it started in the Democratic Party like a cancer, like a basal cell that maybe you could just removed and moved on without too many invasive things happening to you. And now it is a full-blown metastatic pancreatic cancer. And the Joy Reids and the Eddie Glauds, they're everywhere. And this woman who says not just you, but your children, you need to get them away from people who are pro-Trump. Okay, good luck with that, because children go to school and they see children who disagree with things. And you want your children not to see Nana and Pop-Pop, who are in their 80s, who voted for Trump for reasons like wisdom that comes with age.
Sorry, Miss White Woman. Ain't no more Nana and Pop-Pop in the black community. Sorry. They've been deleted Nana and Pop-Pop. Like, Pop-Pop been gone. Nana been gone a little while too, but Pop-Pop been gone. Nana took out Pop-Pop. And then the daughters took out Nana. So, no. They don't want their children to be around a Nana and a Pop-Pop because it don't exist in the black community. Now, that's another sad story. I didn't even think of that. Like, there's no Nana and Pop-Pop. Last time you heard somebody say granddaddy and all this other shit. Man. And she said Nana and Pop-Pop. They still think that we are some sort of community, y'all.
Love with that, because children go to school and they see children who disagree with things. And you want your children not to see Nana and Pop-Pop, who are in their 80s, who voted for Trump for reasons like wisdom that comes with age, but you've got to turn it into they're racist and they can't be around each other. It's sick.
So, and also, like something like 3 in 10 black men under the age of 45, according to the Associated Press, voted for Donald Trump. And same thing, he got over 50% of the popular vote. So you're talking about just completely blocking off a vast swath of the country. And on top of that, this means basically what Joy Reid is doing is continuing to mainstream these totally abstract academic concepts of internalized racism and internalized misogyny. Like if we pull back the layers of the onion as to what she's trying to argue in that segment, it's that you shouldn't associate even with black voters for Trump or female voters for Trump because they are internalizing misogyny. They're internalizing racism, internalizing sexism. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day, meaning they are then promoting the racism and sexism back out into society, despite being women or black voters. They're still responsible for this racism over and over again. And we saw this a lot during the Trump years, but this, to your point about comparing this metaphorically to cancer, this is a cancer cell that started in academia, and people who went through academia were crying from the rooftops for years, saying, please pay attention. This is becoming mainstream. This is being planted. The seed is being planted in the minds of young people, and they're moving into C-suites. They're moving into newsrooms. They're moving into boardrooms. Please do so. Like, stop throwing them a bone. Stop extending the olive branch. Stop taking this stuff seriously, because it is utterly unserious. It is stupid. It is illogical. It is postmodern, and it is stupid. And that's what you now see. And toxic, and yes, and racist, and unhealthy, and just awful. And this is now what you see having infiltrated fully the newsrooms of major papers and MSNBC. And now what are you going to do about it? I mean, Joy Reid lied about CNN. Joy Reid lied about her blog being hacked when people found old posts on it that were objectionable. She lied about it, and MSNBC.
They're anti-gay.
Yes, by her own standard, would be wildly homophobic. And she claimed she was hacked, and they didn't get rid of her after that. So I don't know.
There you have it, y'all. You know, I think these black women are building enemies. And guess I could hit you with one more, yo. Because what I don't like is the black woman showing their hand. You're basically showing these people your hand. That, yo, I don't like you. You don't have to make everything public. Like, I didn't like that part. You're showing everybody your hand. Now the white people know how to move around you. Stupid. That's about like you're showing your hand. That is dumb. And all these white people know how you black women feel. They thought they had you, but Here we go.
Nuance, and to the people who are intentionally not hearing what Black women are saying, listen. I heard someone say this. That election was y'all giving us your ass to kiss. And as I heard another creator say, now we're going to sit on ours. The utter anger and vile things that I've heard people say about Black women, other Black people saying about Black women during this time, y'all have lost y'all's fucking minds. Well, what about this genocide? What about that genocide? What about this? There has been a genocide on Black women since we got to this continent. And it has not stopped. And no one gives a fuck about that.
Ma'am, the first question I would like to ask you is, who is supposed to give a fuck? That's the first question I would like to ask. Now, if you want to be a smart ass and you say Black men, then I would say, well, why did you leave Black men? If Black men supposed to give a fuck about you, why did you align with America? Why did you align with all these other coalitions? So then I would say, well, did you give the Black men your ass to kiss first?
We're going to sit on ours. The utter anger and vile things that I've heard people say about Black women, other Black people saying about Black women during this time, y'all have lost y'all's fucking minds. Well, what about this genocide? What about that genocide? What about this? There has been a genocide on Black women since we got to this continent. And it has not stopped. And no one gives a fuck about that. We are losing our lives to save yours. And y'all are upset because y'all have lost your human shields. Y'all have lost the organizers, the event planners, the mouthpieces of movements, the people who have allowed you guys to sit back and dust your hands off. Y'all have lost that. And
Hold on. What am I hearing here? I gotta play this back because I know she's not talking about Black men right here. So she's talking about white women and other people. So look at what she was doing. Look at what the Black women are proud of to be doing for other people. Listen.
we're losing our lives to save yours.
Not talking about Black men.
And y'all are upset because y'all have lost your human shields. Y'all have lost the organizers, the event planners, the mouthpieces of movements.
The organizers, the planners, and the mouthpieces of movement for everybody but Black men. Wow.
The people who have allowed you guys to sit back and dust your hands off. Y'all have lost that. And now y'all are scrambling. Because you don't know, we were the movement. Without us, there was no movement. Even with the whole white feminism and everybody's thanking Susan B. Anthony, which come the fuck on. She was just as racist as y'all are now.
Ma'am, am I hearing this right? She's actually mad at white women for being white, and she wanted to be down with them. And now she said Black women are this and that, but they lost the election. So I don't get it.
Y'all, they used our work back then and then left us in the dust. And now we're like, okay, y'all want to leave us in the dust? Okay, y'all go ahead. You guys, y'all got it. And y'all are losing your minds. And you sound like abusers. Black women, against their will, have been involved in a centuries-long abusive relationship. Anytime you leave an abuser, the abuser starts panicking. See, you're never going to make without me. See, I never needed you. See, I knew you always hated me. So you're just going to tear our family apart? Yes. And I've had so many white women and
Well, that's the excuse they make for tearing families apart. I'm not trying to just like down on her. It's just that you can hear what she's saying.
Hispanic women. Well, you know, you can't be like that. This isn't the time for